Have you ever woken up angry? Not annoyed, not irritated, but angry? And not because of traffic or someone's text or the bills you forgot to pay. I mean angry in your bones, as if you were born into a fight that never ends. As if somewhere deep inside, your soul remembers a war your mind can't explain. This is not a flaw. This is a call. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because here we dig into the raw, unfiltered truth about men, masculinity, and the fire that drives us. If you've ever felt something burning inside you and didn't know what to do with it, this one's for you. Let's get into it. They've told us for years that anger is bad, that a real man is calm, diplomatic, always smiling, always agreeable. The world has tried to neuter male energy, to polish it until it's dull and unrecognizable. But here's a secret no one talks about in polite society. Every strong man you admire, every warrior, builder, king, or visionary, woke up angry. Not necessarily shouting, not necessarily violent, but angry in the purest sense, restless, urgent, feral. And that's not something to hide, it's something to wield. Think about this. Every great civilization was built not by men at peace, but by men with a bone-deep refusal to stay small. The Romans didn't cross continents out of joy. Spartans didn't train their boys from the age of 7 because life was soft. Alexander didn't conquer the known world because he felt content. They were driven. And drive, real drive, is born of discomfort, rage, hunger, a refusal to be average. Modern men have been sold sedation, blue light, bad food, fake dopamine. We're told to meditate it away or journal it out. And listen, those things have their place. But there's a danger in spiritualizing masculinity to the point of emasculating it. Because somewhere in the core of a man is a spark, a need to fight. Not just physically, but existentially. To wrestle meaning from the chaos. To carve identity from uncertainty. To prove every single day that we are not dead yet. And if you've ever woken up angry, you already know what I'm talking about. Let me tell you a story. It's about a man named Jack. He was a carpenter in Detroit, blue collar. Worked 14-hour days, calluses on his hands, a steel lunchbox that smelled like black coffee and stubbornness. Jack was never taught emotional intelligence. No one ever told him to talk about his feelings. But every morning, before the sun even thought about rising, Jack ran 5 miles, in the snow, in silence, angry. Not angry at anyone in particular, angry at everything. Angry that he was poor, angry that he didn't know his father. Angry that the world didn't care whether he existed or not. Angry that the system seemed rigged. But here's the difference. Jack didn't numb that anger. He channeled it into work, into discipline, into raising his kids with more presence than his own father gave him. That's what real men do with anger. They don't whine, they forge. There's a reason ancient mythologies often depict male gods as wrathful. Odin, Zeus, Shiva, these weren't cozy, soft-hearted beings handing out participation trophies. They were furious, chaotic, powerful, not because they were evil, but because they embodied primal energy. They reminded mankind that creation doesn't come without destruction, that to build something worth remembering, you have to burn something that no longer serves you. But modern society has neutered the archetype. Told boys to sit still, raise their hand, be polite. Told men that if they raise their voice, they're toxic. That if they assert boundaries, they're controlling. That if they refuse to bend, they're insecure. But what if the opposite is true? What if refusing to be passive is the truest expression of a grounded man? Because let's be honest, when men aren't allowed to express their anger constructively, it leaks out destructively. Quiet addictions, sabotaged relationships, depression masked as apathy. Men who don't know where to place their fire end up burning down their own house just to feel warm. Historically, anger has been a catalyst. Martin Luther King, though a man of peace, was fueled by righteous indignation. Muhammad Ali spoke his rage with rhythm and pride. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, didn't deny his darker emotions. He confronted them. He wrote about controlling anger, not deleting it. About making it serve you, not own you. And that's the truth modern men need to hear. You don't get stronger by pretending you're not mad. You get stronger by choosing what to do with it. Anger can wake you up at 4 a.m. to train. It can push you past comfort into greatness. It can make you protect what matters and walk away from what doesn't, but only if you're brave enough to stop lying to yourself. Are you? See, most men aren't angry because they're broken. They're angry because deep down, they know they're meant for more. They know something inside them is being wasted. And that's terrifying. Because the truth is, a man who feels nothing is either numb or dead. But a man who feels anger, real, unfiltered, inconvenient anger, is still alive, still capable, still in the fight. But here's the kicker. Not all anger is equal. Some men weaponize their rage as an excuse to destroy. They lash out, hit, blame, hurt people who didn't cause the fire. That's not power. That's weakness in disguise. Real power, the kind you feel in your bones when you look in the mirror, is learning to ride the storm without becoming the storm. It's using the anger not to harm, but to harden, not to dominate, but to discipline, not to hate, but to hone. There's a reason the sword must be tempered by fire. Why warriors train every day for years for a battle that may never come. Because channeling rage takes work. Restraint is harder than rage. But it is also more masculine, more noble, more necessary. So maybe you woke up angry today. Good. Now ask yourself, what are you going to do with it? Let it eat you alive, or let it forge you into a weapon worth wielding? Because real men don't wake up angry by accident. They wake up angry because the world is unfinished, because they still have battles to fight, because they still care. And that is where it all begins. There is a kind of holy fury that lives in a man who refuses to surrender. And that fury, when kept under control, isn't a liability. It's a gift. The great Stoics knew this. Seneca wrote that anger is like wind to a flame. It can blow it out, or it can make it burn brighter. The difference lies in discipline, in choice, in the moment between the surge and the swing. Because here's the truth. Most men were never taught. You don't need to fear your rage. You need to train it. You need to make it obey you. Like a war horse taught to walk into fire, or a lion raised not to pounce on its own keeper, your anger must learn your name and kneel. Let me take you somewhere else now. The year is 480 BC. Thermopylae, a narrow pass where 300 Spartan warriors stood against the most powerful army on earth. They knew they would die, but they also knew what they were defending. Not comfort, not gold, not ego. Principle, brotherhood, resolve. That kind of strength that faces death with fury and focus, isn't born in peace. It's born in anger tempered by honor. Those men didn't fear their wrath. They focused it. Like light through a lens, they turned something wild and blinding into a weapon that could cut through the darkest night. And that's exactly what today's world is starving for. Men who don't run from their fire, but learn how to wield it. But you don't have to be a soldier to need this. You don't have to face armies. Most modern battles are internal, quiet, invisible. They're fought in boardrooms and bedrooms, in courtrooms and classrooms, in moments when your voice shakes but you speak anyway, when your soul aches but you show up anyway. The battlefield is your mind, and the war is against every voice, external and internal, that tells you to shrink, apologize, blend in, soften, submit. But deep down, you know you weren't made to be tamed. You were made to build, to break through, to become. And if that requires waking up angry at stagnation, at mediocrity, at the weight of the chains placed on you by the world, then so be it. Let it burn. Let it remind you that you're still breathing, still dangerous, still alive. Just promise this. Don't let it rot you. Let it raise you. We've been lied to. Told that anger has no place in the modern man, that we should suppress it with drugs, drown it in distractions, pretend we're okay. But the real men, the ones who change things, they don't get rid of the fire. They use it to ignite change. If you've ever stood in front of a mirror and hated what you saw, not just your body, but your habits, your direction, your excuses, that moment of self-disgust is sacred. It is a gift, because it means your soul still expects more. It means the king inside you isn't dead. He's just been asleep, and now he's angry. Good. Wake him up. Anger, when untrained, is destruction. But anger, when mastered, is direction. It's the fuel that gets you out of bed before the sun. It's what pushes the bar off your chest at the last rep. It's the energy that lets you walk away from fake friends, from soul-sucking jobs, from women who don't respect your mission. Anger reminds you that you matter, that your choices matter, that your life is not to be wasted in passive silence. There is no peace without power, and there is no power without pressure. Some men suppress their rage until it turns into sadness. Others wear it like armor and destroy everything they touch. But the highest form of masculine mastery is neither numbness nor destruction. It is intelligent aggression. It's shaking hands like a gentleman but fighting like a beast when the line is crossed. It's staying calm in the face of disrespect, not because you're weak but because you're too focused to waste fire on fools. That's what real men do. They don't explode. They evolve. They don't flex. They forge. They don't collapse. They command. So the next time you wake up angry, don't scroll, don't vent, don't numb. Stand, breathe, move, train, write, build, lead. Because beneath that fire in your chest is the blueprint for something eternal, something fierce, something free. The man you were born to become is waiting behind that anger, and he's not patient forever. So start now. Pick up your sword and use it right. If this lit something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button. Drop a comment below. Tell us what drives you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with a brother who needs to hear it. Because the world doesn't need more tamed men. It needs more real ones. Stay sharp. Stay dangerous. And remember, sometimes the fire inside you isn't rage. It's a reminder. You were never meant to play small.